was taken from my home and my family when I was about 2.5 years old. Private adopted by a white lady in Calgary, my mom. I guess there was like a feeling right from the beginning that I didn't belong, that I was unwanted, and therefore that equated as unlovable. When I was 7 and I was on the reserve, because that was part of the adoption agreement, is that I know my biological family. I found out that my uncle was my dad and he stopped talking to me, but I remember it was the day that I broke apart in a million places because everybody that had said that they cared and loved about me at that point had all been lying to me. It drove me down a dark path really fast. I just built these walls and I learned how to disassociate, detach from things. I guess it's any kind of safety or any kind of love or any kind of trust that you may have felt, that I may have felt that I had at that point was just gone. I was quite promiscuous and I was just going around and curious, looking for something to feel that loneliness that I felt. I was going down the street and an older gentleman picked me up and he taught me how to do sexual acts. We're just off the stroll here down in the hood in Edmonton. This is one of what I call my offices where I used to work. This is where the Johns used to come pick me up around the corner. There's been a lot of times where a lot of stuff has happened here in this alley. When trauma, I guess, happens to you the first time, it's more traumatic, I guess, than when it repeatedly happens to you, because it got to a point where I wouldn't even feel anything. I remember those feelings reminded me of being 7 years old again and being hurt and trusted, and so the only way to shove them down was to block them out, and I was really good at that by this time. It just got cold and it just got hard, and I'm gonna be this young, tough woman against the world. Time really means nothing down here. You're so focused on actually surviving and feeding your addiction. I ended up a couple of months later being gang raped and from 4 guys, and I ended up getting pregnant from one of them, and I got an abortion. I would be pregnant again, and it would be my oldest son. By this time it was way too far along, and I didn't tell anybody because I knew that the answer would be abortion again. I was not really given a choice. It was either you give this baby up or we'll disown you. Our family will disown you. Gratefully, my cousin stepped in and she said that she would raise my son so that I would be able to still see him and still be a part of his life. You get into a rhythm here and it's just such a sad, dark, negative one. But on the other side of that, if you go like 4 blocks up, that's where the Salvation Army was in the ministry van, so it was like a safe haven.
Would pray over the women that came on here and pray for their safety.
First time I met Taanis was on the Salvation Army outreach van.
And she came from across the road, hit the van the whole way across and said, "You FF blank blank blank, you were trying to hit me." We were completely parked. The person I was with, there was only 2 of us on the van at that time, and she's like, "Wow, she looks bad."
Taanis never made eye contact. She always looked at the ground. She wouldn't look directly at you. She would get off the van, with her things, but never wanting prayer.
I just went into down mode, spiral mode, and I just shot up so bad that I couldn't walk because my legs were so swollen. And so I phoned the ambulance and they came and got me and took me to the hospital. The doctor was looking me over and everything like that, and he was just he's like, "You're in bad shape." He's like, "We may have to amputate your knees from the leg down," because they were abscessed so bad, they were like watermelons. It was in the program that I went to. Bonnieville was really pivotal for me because it was First Nations treatment center. And then I got out of there and I went to 1-year program, and it was a faith-based program. And it was here that I was introduced to God and, supported. This is where I got a lot of, a lot of my tools. I dealt with a lot of anger, forgiveness, boundaries, any kind of even structure, just how to live. I didn't know how to live. And when I came in here, the consensus was that I wasn't going to make it because I was of the hopeless kind. This is where, Jesus, totally stepped in, picked me up, and the footprints poem, he's carried me endless times.
It's just amazing how God shows up, and she prays specifically about something, and then she'll see a billboard or something extravagant that God is answering her prayer.
The second time I met her was at a place called The Journey,
which is a retreat that we do quarterly, 4 times a year, for women who are sometimes marginalized, addicted.
And I was there the same time she came, and it was amazing. Yeah, what a change, what a change.
He uses all the things that I went through and the trials I went through to come back and give back. I work with murdered and missing women. I do truth and reconciliation. I go back to John's school and speak. I get to be in this place now where I get to see all this revival going on with God, not only in the church, but out on the street, where it's really important that we get out and outside of the church and reach people right where you're at, because that's what Jesus' commission: get out and be my hands, go forth right into the darkness. And that's what I get to do. I get to go into the dark, and like him, I get to be his little firefly.